Hey guys, in this video we're going to be covering activity 6C.2. Our mastery learning objective is I can solve for the missing side of a triangle by setting up proportions. So one of the biggest things for this section is being able to identify which sides are congruent to each other, and we do that by looking at our similarity statement. So one of the things that we should look at is where is our missing side? And our missing side is right here. And we're gonna replace that question mark with an X. So that X is technically what side? That would be JK, right? JK are the first two letters of that first triangle. So the way that you find that other side would be looking at our similarity statement. That's gonna correspond to the first two letters of the second triangle, which is PQ. All right, now if we look at we can kind of set up that ratio there. So JK, we said JK, that's going to be X, and that's going to be equivalent to PQ. So this is P, we go to Q, and that would be 33. All right, we have to go ahead now and set up the other side of our proportion, and you have to look back at our triangle. So I see that I have this side right here that's 28, and that would be side JL. So J, basically, J is here, we're going JL. JL, excuse me, would correspond to PR. All right, so now we can go ahead and fill those in. So JL, we already said was 28. PR, P and then R would be 42. So that similarity statement definitely gives us exactly what we need in order to be able to set up our proportion. Now from here, we simply cross multiply like we just did in 6C.1. So we're going to cross multiply here. So this would be 42 times X. So 42X is going to equal, we'll cross multiply this direction, 33 times 28. 33 times 28 is 924. And then we want to go ahead and solve for X. So in order to solve, we have to do the opposite operation. So the opposite of multiplication is divide. And we're going to divide by 42 on each side. So again, I'm not showing the work in the calculator because hopefully by now you know how to multiply and divide in your calculator. And that's going to give us an answer of X equaling 22. All right, that is the missing side of our triangle. We're going to do the same thing for example number 2. So I like to find my missing side. So I see my missing side is right here. So that's going to be my X. And that's the side TU. So TU is going to correspond then to KL. So K and then L. So if I set up those two sides, TU was X, KL was 130. We're going to go ahead and set that equal to my other side that now I have in my triangle. So looking back at my first triangle there, what side do I know? I know this UV side. So UV is going to correspond then to LN. All right, so UV was 60. LM was 117. And now we can go ahead and cross multiply and solve for our missing variable. So when we cross multiply, 117 times X is 117X. 130 times 60, remember you're multiplying, is going to be 7,800. And then I'm going to divide by 117 on both sides. And my X here is going to equal, in a fraction form, would be 200 over 3, which simplifies to about 66.67. And that would be my missing value for X. Okay, 2 more examples here. So looking now at example number 3, we have another similarity statement here. So we have triangle UVW is similar to UST. So again, find whatever missing side. In this case, we have a binomial, so we have more than just an x, right? But we set up our proportion the exact same way. So if I'm going to be looking at this side right here, this is going to be side UV, right? UV is going to correspond to US. So UV is going to be over US. So US would be over here. UV was 5x plus 11. That's going to be over US, which is what we just said. That was 18. We have to set up the other side of our proportion. So now we go back to that original triangle, and I'm going to be looking at VW. VW were the last two letters, so that's going to correspond to ST. And ST was 24. So that's going to be 88 over 24. Again, the way that I know how to set up my numerators and denominators comes from the statement that we literally just wrote up here. Okay? So now we cross multiply and solve for x. Remembering that when you have more than one term, please make sure you put this in parentheses so that you multiply the correct way. So this is actually going to be 24 times 5x plus 11. And multiplying the other direction would be 88 times 18, which is going to give me 1,584. Distributing over here, 24 times 5x is going to give me 120x. 24 times a positive 11 is a positive 264. This is still 1,584. I want to isolate my x, so I'm going to go ahead and subtract 264 over to the other side. And continue on here. So this is still going to be 120x. That becomes 0. This is now equal to 1,320. I'm going to do the opposite here. So if I'm multiplying 120 times x, the opposite is to divide 120 on both sides. So x now is going to equal 11. Looking at example number 4. So I'm going to scroll up a little bit so I can see my triangle here and my similarity statement. So we have triangle EFS is similar to triangle TUS. So I like to start off with my missing side. Again, you can set these up however you'd like. So that would be SU or US, either one. US can correspond to FS. So that would be FS here. So US would be 5x minus 10 over FS, which is 24. Alright, our other side, so going back to that original triangle. So if I did US on the top, I'm going to have to do TS at the top. That's going to correspond to ES, which is over here. So TS is 50, ES is 15. Cross multiplying, again, putting that numerator in parentheses because it is a binomial. So I want to make sure I keep this all together because I do have to distribute that 15 to everything. So this is going to be 15 times 5x minus 10. Cross multiply in the other direction would be 24 times 50. And 24 times 50 is 1,200. Distributing, right? That 15 has to get multiplied in. So 15 times 5x is 75x. 15 times a negative 10 is a negative 150. This is still all equal to 1,200. I want to isolate my x, so I'm going to therefore move over my 150 by doing the opposite, which would be adding it over to the other side. So I'm left with 75x. That becomes 0. And 1,200 plus 150 is going to give me 1,350. I want to isolate my x, so 75 times x, the opposite there, opposite there is to divide by 75 on both sides. Right, always do the opposite in order to isolate our variable there. And so x is going to equal 18. All right, that brings us to the end of this video. Go ahead and work on activity 6C.2. Good luck.